in handcuffs struck by an NYPD officer.
It began at a neighborhood softball game, and it ended with the NYPD once again facing charges of brutality. And as you'll see only on News Channel 4, it happened in a precinct that's already made national headlines for police abuse. Scott Weinberger has been investigating the story. He joins us now with details. Scott?
Chuck and Jane, it happened in the very same precinct where Abner Louima was brutally attacked. In fact, the officer involved was assigned there right after the Louima torture case to diversify the station house. And tonight, he is charged with a vicious assault, all captured on home video. Already in handcuffs, being subdued by at least 6 police officers, is 26-year-old Anthony Carty. Many of the onlookers shouted to officers to ease up. And moments before, witnesses say Carty was sprayed with pepper spray or mace. Then, while being escorted to a waiting patrol car and held by 3 police officers, this. His name is Charles Dorsett, a 5-year veteran of the NYPD. And shown once again at a slower speed, this amateur video captures Officer Dorsett with a police radio in hand, striking a handcuffed Anthony Carty. The incident enrages a growing crowd of spectators. According to Anthony Carty, the whole incident began as an innocent argument during a softball game here in Prospect Park. And while it's still unclear why the officers from the 7-0 precinct responded, Carty says a heated argument between players and cops did erupt, and that's when Carty says one of the players was maced by one of the officers. And that's when Carty says he intervened, and that's also where the tape begins. The man behind the lens of this home video camera provided this tape exclusively to News Channel 4. Because of the nature of the images and the concern for his safety, he has chosen not to appear on camera, even in silhouette. After the incident, he followed Officer Dorsett to make sure his face, precinct, and even the plate number of the officer's patrol car was recorded. And while the images of Anthony Carty being struck are disturbing, the person who shot the tape told us he was even more outraged when Carty was maced at least 2 more times by another officer before being placed into the back seat of the patrol car.
This is an obvious and outrageous abuse of police power.
Rudolph Silas is the attorney for Anthony Carty, and he says what officers may not have known at the time is the macing sent Carty into respiratory distress. The reason, he has a history of asthma. And Silas says while Carty was inside the patrol car, his wife tried to tell officers about her husband's asthmatic condition, only to be arrested herself. A short time later, police officers did remove Carty from the car and put him into an ambulance.
There's no allegations of a weapon being used. There's no allegation of alcohol or any drug-influenced behavior. From the look of the video, it appeared as though the defendant was wobbling, not fully conscious, and certainly not flailing his legs, flailing his arms, biting, trying to do anything that might be perceived as provocation.
At the hospital, Carty was treated for several bruises and received 8 stitches to his upper lip. Injuries, his attorney says, are the direct result of the beating at the hands of Officer Dorsett.
It was inappropriate use of force.
Today, in an exclusive interview, Police Commissioner Ray Kelly agreed to talk about the incident.
The officer was immediately suspended. The complainant was taken by Internal Affairs Bureau investigators to the District Attorney's Office. Investigation with the District Attorney's Office was conducted, and the officer was ultimately arrested.
Sources tell News Channel 4 that it's likely Officer Dorsett may not be the only officer facing criminal charges. The incident occurred on August 11th. However, law enforcement sources confirm that it was nearly 3 weeks before any action was taken. Is your office concerned at this point that this incident had not been reported to any division, whether it's Internal Affairs or the prosecutor's office, for almost 3 weeks?
All aspects of this incident, of the event and the surrounding circumstances of the event, are under investigation by our Internal Affairs Bureau.
Rudolph Silas believes without the videotape evidence, this case would have likely been swept under the rug.
Convinced, but for this tape. The tape makes it very clear that it was an unprovoked assault. It takes it our word against word. and it lays it out in an objective fashion for all to view and reach their own determinations.
On the day of the incident, Anthony Carty was charged with disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and obstruction, and those charges are still pending. Meanwhile, we contacted the attorney for Officer Dorsent, who declined comment. We're obviously going to